WJG Sports. We journal great.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the WJG Sports Football Show. Of course, this is Kai Jones, your host, the owner, the operator of WJG Sports. I'm here today to talk about plenty of football. Before I do, man, I want to give a shout out to my brother 252 Mixtapes. Definitely appreciate you on the merch there. Always got to support your family, man. All my other brothers who do this media stuff, send me some merch, man. I love to represent and look out for other people. All right, so getting right into it. It was another great week of football in the WJG area. Of course, we're always going to start out with the big winners. Currently, they still 4 teams still undefeated right now in the WJG area. There's only 30 teams left in the state, at least among public schools, that are undefeated. 4 of them right here in the WJG area, baby. Yes, so we have Green Central, who remain undefeated with a big 64-7 win against Aiden Grifton on the road on a Thursday night. Now, of course, you have ACOC, who snuck out a win over South Johnson after starting the game up 34-7. South Johnson came back and made it close, 34-28. And the Falcons remain 6-0. Going back to Green Central, they're one of just 4 teams in the state who's actually 7-0. They played every week this season. They have 3 more games in 3 straight weeks. So they're looking at going 10-0 in 10 weeks, which is quite remarkable feat, especially when they'll get a week before heading into the state playoffs to rest. So that'll be a big time for them, especially what they've been doing without Justice DeBro. Now, let's go back. Triple S, of course, 28 deep against Hunt, as Coach Donald said after they beat Hunt. They went into fight, or they welcomed in Fike and was able to beat Fike 21-12. Big time win for the Spartans. They are now 6-0 and are still in the lead for that QCC conference, alongside with ACOC setting up in what could be a very major game in 3 weeks, which would basically be the decider for who wins the conference championship in 3 weeks if both teams can remain undefeated. And of course, your Cleveland Rams, for the 3rd straight season, start 6-0. So Triple S started 6-0 for the first time since 1998. ACOC 6-0 for the first time since 2009. And of course, Green Central only the 2nd time in school history that they have started out this undefeated. So a lot of history, a lot of good times going on in the WJG area. Cleveland, of course, escaped Fuquay Arena with 21-12 win. They are in the driver's seat for the conference championship. So today I'm going to kick it a little bit different for you guys. I know I've been, going conference to conference every week. So this week I'm going to do it just a little bit different. Still going to be about conference talk, but we're going to kick it just a little bit different. We're going to go with some probabilities. So if you're in math, hopefully this helps you out with learning what probabilities mean. So let's start with the 1A. Let's start with the 1A team that we have here in the WJG area that plays football. Of course, Rosewood came out with the 2nd straight win this week with a win over Hopton, 3rd win of the season, 3-4 now. I told people all along, can't worry about Rosewood. Their non-conference schedule is much tougher than what their conference is going to be. Hopton, I thought, was probably their best chance at getting tested. And Hopton came out and they beat them 41-13. I really don't think they're going to lose this conference at all. I'd put them winning their conference at 96%. So it's only a 5-team conference. So their conference season just started. But I put them at a 96% chance of winning. The 2% chance I would give to North Duplin. I'd give a 1% chance to Lakewood and a 1% chance and a 0.5% chance to Hopton and Union. So that is how I would add that up, because in my opinion, Rosewood is by far the best team in this conference. I mean, you look at it, North Duplin, they're a pretty solid bunch, 4-2. But when you look at their schedule, the same team that Rosewood just beat Southside, I believe they beat them. I believe Rosewood beat them 28-12. North Duplin started the season off to them with a 21-6 loss. Rosewood lost to Northside Pinetown 34-24. North Duplin lost to them 42-18. Their only wins are against two of the worst teams in 1A, in Jones Senior and Lejeune. Then they have a win over Pamlico, which Pamlico has not been as good this year as they have been in recent history. So that's 3 really pretty meh wins. And then you look at they play Beargrass Charter. That's another one of those bottom feeder 1A teams who, they're a little bit better than what they used to be, but at the same time, I don't think that they're going to be a contender in the playoffs. So versus you look at Rosewood's schedule and the teams that they've lost to Aycock by 6 points. That's undefeated team in 3A. Beating North Johnston who's a 2A team, and North Johnston is currently having one of their better seasons they've had in the last 5 or 6 years. And then you have they lost to Princeton by 13. Princeton is one of the top 2A teams in the state. Lost to Whiteville, another top 2A team in the state. You lose to Northside Pinetown, one of the better programs over the last 3 or 4 years in 1A. You beat Southside, who's going to get a nice seed and probably will be a team that people don't want to see coming into them during the playoffs. And then you just beat Hopton, which was a team that I thought would be a little bit better than what they were. But Rosewood, to me, has this conference locked up, 96% chance. Hopton was the toughest one. Maybe North Duplin will give them a challenge, but I don't foresee it. So give me Rosewood, 96% chance. All right, now let's move to Green Central's conference here, the 2A Eastern Plains. Currently, Green Central is 3-0 in this conference. They have not been really tested at all by the conference. As you can see, they beat North Pitt 48-6, Southwest Edgecombe 30-3, Aiden Grifton 64-7. So if you're doing the math at home, folks, that means they have only allowed 16 points and they've scored 142 to 16. So they've been absolutely dominant. I mean, if you look at it this year, they've only given up more than 7 points once this year, and that was a 20 points to Kinston, which Kinston can still score. I think their problem currently right now is the defense hasn't been as dominant as it's been in past years, but still a very good Kinston program. I mean, you look at the way that they're beating people. People are saying they're playing cupcakes. That's what Coach Wilson keeps on saying. But, man, they are running them out the house. I mean, the thing I like to see, if you are going to play a bunch of teams who are on the downswing, especially in football, beat the living mess out of them. I mean, the lowest amount of points they scored has been 30, and the most points they've given up has been 20. So you look at it, they could have beaten Kinston playing their worst game of the year. I just look at it and, they got Washington coming up this week. Washington just took a big L to Farmville Central. Then they got West Craven coming in, and then they finish up with a test at Farmville Central, which will probably be the de facto conference championship game, the way the standings currently are with Farmville Central. Let me make sure before I say this. I believe Farmville Central, they are undefeated. West Craven is undefeated. So you got 2 straight weeks of playoff football games after this week. So you got to look at these next 3 weeks as playoff games. That's the way I look at it. And of course, I hyped them up enough. I know I've talked a lot about Green Central. But I'm going to give them a strong 80% chance to win this conference. The next 3 weeks is going to be really, really hard. But I think that they are strong enough to potentially be able to get a piece of this championship. Now, who do I assign the other 20% to? I would give Farmville a 10% chance, because the thing about it is, for Farmville, if they can just keep beating everybody else, which they have kind of the let me check out Farmville's remaining schedule. If I remember correctly, they should have. So they got West Craven, Green Central, North Pitt. So that's 3 tough weeks back to back, just like Green Central. But I feel a little bit more confident in Green Central. I feel like 10% is a good shot. West Craven, I'm going to give them a 7% chance. And I'm giving them 7% because West Craven, if you follow that program for over the last 5 years, every year that we think that, oh, West Craven is done, West Craven shows us, no, we're not. We are still West Craven. I mean, Craven County has produced some of the top talent coming out of Eastern North Carolina in the last, 20, 30 years. So I got to give them a 7% chance. And we got 3% chance. So I'm going to give Washington a 2% chance, even though they're 0-2. And I'll give North Pitt a 1% chance. I don't think Southwest Edgecombe or Aiden Griffin have a chance to win this conference at all. Now, of course, if they were to somehow pull something miraculous, but I just don't see it. Like I've said, I think very highly of Green Central. I think they could finish 10-0. I mean, I think they have a very good shot at it. I mean, Washington losing to Farmville, and I think Green Central is a lot better than Farmville. I think that, we'll see just really how good it is. But now the thing about it is they're getting into a part of a schedule that's, you got some real rivalries there. I mean, Green Central to Ada Griffin, that's been a rivalry for the last few years, of course. But Washington, that's been kind of the team that they've had a hard time getting past. West Craven has given Green Central a lot of fits in the past. And, of course, Farmville Central, that's the oldest rival. They are, I believe, 12 miles away from each other. I mean, realistically, that's the school that they're closest to in proximity. I got to think that that's going to be a huge game. And that's probably why I give Farmville Central a little bit of an edge there at 10%, just because that is a rivalry game. And rivalry games, man, anything can happen. You never know who's going to step up, who's going to do what. So for Green Central, I think for them, it's just you got to look at these next 3 weeks as playoff games. Go ahead, win these 3. Go take a bye. Get healthy, hopefully get Justice DeBro back sometime in the next 2 or 3 weeks, and go into the playoffs rolling, steaming ahead. I mean, currently right now, the rankings really aren't giving them a lot of respect as far as the Max Preps ranking. I'm not sure. I can look at it real quick. I believe if I were to just do this in my head, they're 1, 2, 3, 4. They would be about a 5 seed right now, according to the rankings. Now, of course, I don't, the RPI rankings are a little bit different than Max Preps rankings. But, I mean, 5th seed, that guarantees you 2 playoff games. So, hey, I think for them, now it's just about hopefully you can get that seed up even a little bit more. But I think they're in a great place, and I'm sure Jay Wilson is loving the way his Rams are playing right now. John Willis, congratulations on your commitment to Navy. Great young man, seen him grow up. Remember, he was just a freshman, I believe. You can go and watch the Building Blocks episodes from 4 years ago. I believe he was on them. Great young man, extremely talented. And, the Navy Academy got them a big one. I got to say, don't know how my alma mater, ECU, didn't pull that one through. But, hey, you know what? We'll let's keep it moving on that one. Now, let's go to the New Six. New Six, they just kicked off conference play this week. They are currently, currently Currently, right now, it's 3 teams at the top. Since it's a 6-team league, currently, right now, it's 3 teams at the top, 3 teams undefeated. Princeton currently has the lead technically because they're 5-1. We're able to beat Eastern Wayne to start conference playoff. And Bedingfield beat Goldsboro to start conference play. And North Johnson got to win over Spring Creek to start conference play. So those are currently the 3 top teams, with the 3 teams I just mentioned now in tie for second place. So this conference is crazy because it has the most, I think this has the most percentage of WJG teams in one single conference. So you can look at it now. Okay, Princeton, I'm not going to lie to you, I'm giving them a 90% chance to win the new 6 right now. Just the way they've been playing, they've been rolling. I mean, you can't deny what they've done. I mean, since that loss at Smithfield-Selma, the lowest amount of points they've scored is 43. After scoring 21 against Smithfield-Selma. Now, of course, I mean, your defense, you would like to see your defense not allow 57, 32, 23, 28, 12. But I think you look at it and you're like, man, our offense it's in roll right now. I mean, Christian Paris, I'm going to talk a little bit more about him, but he's absolutely rolling. You got Peyton Mitchell doing his job. They're just getting a lot of contributions from a lot of different places. Brandon Turner, they are, just they're having the type of season I thought they could have. Luke Jones played a big part, got a pick in that game. Of course, you had Andrew Rose, Weston Evans. You've just had a lot of people. Nasir Floyd has made some plays. Kobe Phillips has done a great job blocking. So they've gotten a lot going for them, as far as what they've done. Barry Creech has made some very good plays as well. So, I mean, to me, they're doing what I kind of expected that they would do. So, for me, I give them a 90% chance. Now, people, mainly Princeton fans, don't want to acknowledge this, but North Johnson is also tied with them for first place. Mark Boone, big-time Princeton baseball player and Princeton homer, he commented on something when I said that North Johnson was in first place, but they are. They're in first place right now. I know they're 2-4. Just got their second win of the season over Spring Creek. But I mean, man, North Johnson, if you're looking at someone who could threaten based on schedule, at least in the WJG area, I mean, you got Bedingfield next. They're also tied with you for first place. Got Goldsboro next. Goldsboro's on the downswing. Sorry about that. Had some fall right there. You take one shot at Eastern Wayne and Princeton. So, I mean, you kind of going a little bit backwards in how hard your schedule is going to get, but it kind of works out for you. If you get Spring Creek, Bedingfield, this is an old-time rivalry because they've normally been in the conference together a long time. So, maybe you come out and you play a really good game and you beat Bedingfield. Goldsboro's on the downswing right now. Maybe you can shock them, especially because it's at home. Then you have an Eastern Wayne game at home as well. I mean, then you would go on the road to Princeton. I mean, there's a shot where there is a world somewhere in one of these realms where it's a Princeton and North Johnson for the 2022 New 6 Conference Championship. Now, I don't know if I'm going to go that far and say that it's booked or that it's going to happen. But I will say there's a good shot. I mean, I like what I saw from North Johnson. They run the ball really well. I do know that they are dealing with a lot of injuries and things like that. It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on, I will say, for them. For North Johnson, I give them a 3% chance to win this conference. Bedingfield, I give them a 2% chance. Currently, right now, 3-3, 3 straight games. They're not as good as they were 2 or 3 years ago, but, after losses to Fike, Hunt, Green Central, hey, you get a close one over Aiden Grifton, you beat Croatan, and now you beat Goldsboro. I mean, but those are 3 programs who are also on the downswing as well. So, I mean, I don't know how much to buy into it, but just based on the fact of that, if they win this North Johnston game, I mean, hey, they'll be 2-0. And when you look at the remaining part of their schedule, it's not favorable, but hey, you got North Johnston, Eastern Wayne, Princeton, Spring Creek. I mean, you got the last game, you got the easiest win in the last game. If you could come, North Johnston, I think, even though North has kind of rolled a little bit more sometimes. Well, I'm going to say it like this. North Johnson played a really good game against Spring Creek as far as, even though they didn't think that they did, I think that was a solid game plan and the way that they played it, everything like that. And they've, North Johnson played a little bit better competition than Bedingfield has. So even though all of that, I think most people who on the outside looking in, just because of history, you take Bedingfield. So I look at it, they say, you got North Johnson, so hey, if you're going to be favored in that game, I mean, Bedingfield, you roll into Eastern Wayne. Eastern Wayne could be coming off of a second straight loss, or they could be coming in on a win. You never know how that's going to go Friday night, I mean, you could get a chance to win that one. You play a really good game against Princeton, hey, something could happen there for you, so Spring Creek to finish it off with. I look at it, like I said, I give them a 2% chance. I give them a 2% chance. To me, I think that's really fair. That's really fair right now. So that's 95. I'm going to give a 4% chance to Eastern Wayne. Now, the 4% is a little bit better than North Johnson, but I really think that Eastern Wayne, if I'm being honest to my personal opinion, I think Eastern Wayne wins the next 4 conference games in a row and goes 4-1 and will be 6-4 heading into the playoffs. And even though they've had some really bad losses, they've all come to really good teams. I mean, they lost to ACOG, undefeated. They lost to Green Central, undefeated. They lost to Princeton, and they lost to James Keenan. All teams who are really good 2A teams and 3A team for ACOG. Excuse me. So I still think that they have the best chance to win if it's not Princeton. But I don't know who beats Princeton if Eastern Wayne didn't come within 37 points of them. So I gotta say, still in that case, I still think it's Princeton wins this. Of course, because I gave them 90%, but I still think it's Princeton's conference. Goldsboro, Spring Creek, I give them both a 0.5% chance, just because, you never know. Injuries happen, things happen. You never know. I still think it's Princeton, but hey, I think there's always a chance. It's high school football. Things happen every day. Now, let's keep rolling on to the 3A QCC. Now, of course, Smithville, Selma, and ACOT currently right there at the top of it. Like I said, we are headed towards a bowling ball event where in 3 weeks there is an undefeated versus undefeated WJG team for the conference championship. It'd be like some Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, big time boxing match type of deal. Now, of course, this one is the toughest one because I've been trying to figure out who's the better team. ACOG, Smithville, Selma. ACOG, Smithville, Selma. I've been going back and forth at this. It's really tough to decide because you look at it, okay, Smithville, Selma played a worser game against South Johnston than ACOG did, but they won by more. Okay. ACOG played a much better game against Hunt than Triple S did, but Triple S won by more still. Fike 20-12 versus, I think, ACOG beat East Wake 21-12. I'd be hard pressed to figure out who's the better of those two teams. And if you put a gun to my head, I really have no idea. I mean, currently right now, I'd say, Triple S probably has the better defense. ACOG probably has a better offense. But, maybe I would say ACOG's defense is a little better than Triple S's offense. So there's kind of the... So I don't know. I have no idea right now. If you ask me who I'm picking to win that game in 3 weeks, I couldn't tell you. I do know Triple S has a very big matchup coming up this week against Wes Johnson, who has pretty much asserted themselves as the third place team right now, 2-1. Only loss coming to I believe Hunt. Let me make sure. Coming to Fight. So they beaten Southern Wayne, beaten East Wake, which those are the two of the bottomer teams. But right now, they're currently in third place. I mean, that's where they're at right now. Can't be mad with it. I mean, now they have this big matchup coming with Smithfield-Selma. If you remember, Wes Johnson was gunning for a conference championship last year, and Smithfield-Selma kind of turned their year around with that big win over Wes Johnson at home. Also in the rain, I believe it was. So you look at it, 6-0 versus 4-2. That's a big game this week. That's one that I would definitely keep an eye on. Then you look at ACOG has coming up this week. They have Fike. So two good measuring stick games for both teams. I still don't know who's better, but I'll give Triple S 45% and ACOG a 45% chance to win the QCC. There we go. We'll split the difference there. We don't have to make a choice right now because it's just percentages. So I'm giving them 45 and 45, so that means there's 10 left. I'll give... If you look at it, I'm looking at it like this for Wes Johnson. Hey, you got a pretty, you got Triple S, ACOG, Hunt, South Johnson. You got the four best teams coming into this year, from my opinion. If you win all four of these games, you win the conference championship. So for Wes Johnson, I think that's right where they're sitting. They control their destiny. They win 4 games, get the conference championship. I mean, just simple as that. So I give Wes Johnson, because of the fact that they do control their own destiny, I give them a 5% chance. I give them 5% chance to win. Now, that means there's 5% left. I'll give a 2% chance to Fight, because if you look at it, they got East Wake and Southern Wayne too. That's the two bottom teams. If you beat ACOG coming up this week, and you beat Hunt, and you beat the other two teams, you also control your destiny. So, matter of fact, I'll up it to 3% for them. 3%. Now, Hunt and South Johnson, I'll give them each 1% chance. Hunt really put themselves in a bad place by losing to Triple S. Had they beaten Triple S, we might be having a much different conversation on these probabilities. But I gotta say, I'm sticking with 1% for them. Now, of course, that leaves 0% for Southern Wayne and East Wake. And just honestly and being truthful, you look at it for those two teams, man. I mean, both of them just have a really tough road. East Wake's one win is over Southern Wayne. Southern Wayne doesn't have a win yet, and I don't think they will get a win, because when you look at the rest of their schedule, I mean, I don't see, they have South Johnson, Triple S, Fike, ACOG. The only one I can see them challenging is maybe South Johnston, but I really don't think they will. I mean, the thing I'll say is they're scoring more points this year than they have normally. So, hey, and they're close. They haven't gotten running clocked yet. So I think they've made a lot of progress this year, but I just really don't think, with just how tough this conference is, maybe next year you could see a bigger bump. Because, I mean, you look at it, Triple S will be losing a big-time senior class. ACOC is losing some good seniors, but the thing about ACOC is I know for a fact that they're loaded there on their JV team as well. So they got more coming in. Wes Johnson seems like they're going to be a consummate contender. So, I mean, I don't know. This is a tough conference to win in. There's normally going to be – I'm pretty sure this is a conference where you're going to see 5 or 6 teams get in this year alone. So I think for them it's hard pressed. So 0% for Fike and Southern Wayne. Hate to say it, but had to. All right, now last conference that we will talk about here. Oh, exactly. Well, last public school conference we'll talk about here. The new Greater Neuse River 4A. Now, of course, Cleveland currently right now 6-0. They're standing on top. They're the only team left that has not lost a conference game. Realistically, for them, in my mind, I'm gonna give them the best percent chance. I'm gonna give them 98%. I give Cleveland 98%. And the only reason I give them 1% is because Clayton, who's currently second place, has the best chance to potentially knock them off. I mean, out of anybody. I mean, the thing about it is, they lost and won to Fuquay, but they've beaten Garner, beaten Southeast Raleigh. Now, of course, this week against South Garner, that'll kind of tell us something. They got the Corn Holders game coming up. I don't think they have a problem with that. Willow Spring, don't think they have a problem with that. And then you set up a big conference game at Cleveland. The thing I like about potentially Clayton for them is that they don't give up a lot of points. They've 33 points in the last 4 weeks. It's pretty good. 8.5. Yeah, I believe 8.5 points per game there. Pretty good. I mean, you gave up 42 to Grimsley and 26 to Wake Forest, but those two programs are different. I mean, that's state championship contenders every year, So I do give Cleveland a 98% chance. I give Clayton a 1% chance. Just because, you know what? I mean, hey, they're in a good place. They're in a good place. I would split the last 1% between Fuquay and South Garner. But the problem that both of those teams have is they've already lost to Cleveland. So if Cleveland runs the table, there's nothing they can do. Cleveland controls their own destiny. I mean, that's why I give them the 98%. They control their own destiny. It's a big thing to have. Jackson Bird, he's done a great job taking over for Scott Locklear. Their offense is rolling, man. It's just offense is rolling, defense is played well. I mean, you look at it, they only gave up 13 points to Fuquay Varina. I mean, they've coming through. I mean, they so far have only given out 26 points in 3 games in the conference play. So they've done their job. Cleveland isn't scoring 50 or 60 like they did in years back, but they're scoring enough to win. And I think Cleveland – in a good place. I think they're in a very good place for themselves right now, and I think if you look at it, they have a really good shot at winning their conference just by how everything is really going for them. Now, last one we're going to finish off with is Wayne Christian, who is now in the Big 8-man conference. Currently, right now, lost 42-40 to Rocky Mount Academy. Currently, right now, in last place. For Wayne Christian, man, it's going to be really tough for them to get back in that conference because they've already lost 2 games in there, and there is now only 3 games left. You got a tough game against Arundel Parrott. You got a tough one against Faith Christian, and you finish off with Cary Christian as well. So, man, it's they've dug themselves a big hole, but, anything is possible. I give John Paul II, I give them a 40% chance of winning. I give Arundel Parrott a 40% chance of winning. I give Cary Christian 5% chance. Rocky Mount Academy 2%, Faith Christian 2%, Wayne Christian 1%. Just because, hey man, you never know what happens to 8 man. Hey, somebody slips, somebody falls, and somebody's gone to the house. I mean, crazy sport, crazy game to watch. Definitely going to be interesting to see how everything proceeds going into this week. Parrott is a very big game for them. So I think if you're going to win it, you need to win your next 3. These 3 are huge for you if you want to win your conference. All right. Now, we are going to talk about before we get to top 5 rankings. We're going to talk about some of the top performers currently in the WJG area. Let's talk about. Let's start off with Jamari Copridge. I mean, Jamari Copridge has done a great job for Green Central. He's been actually absolutely electric. 4 TDs in the first half this week. He currently has 17 total TDs in 4 different categories. So once again, it's been a big time for the 4s. You know, he currently has this stat line here is quite amazing. I'll put the tweet up here on the video for you as well so you can see. I mean, but you look at what he's done so far. I mean, I can't think of a player who's been more impactful on all 3 sides of the ball than Jamari Copridge. I keep wanting to say Copridge. I don't know why. But, I mean, you look at it right now, man. He's putting up some absolutely crazy numbers. Currently, for rushing, 46 carries, 630 yards, which is 13.7 yards per carry, which is absolutely insane, with 9 TDs. Absolutely crazy. Then you throw in his receiving numbers, 13 catches, 292 yards, 5 touchdowns. He's averaging over 23 yards, averaging close to 23 yards a catch. Monstrous. Now you go even deeper. You go to his total yardage, 630 rushing yards, 292 receiving yards, and then you throw in all-purpose is what we're supposed to be at. Then you throw in he's got 30 yards in punt returns. He's got 81 yards in kick returns, including a kick return touchdown this week. Then you look at it, he has 2 interception returns for 114 yards and 2 touchdowns there as well. So, I mean, man, it's been absolute dominant. I've never seen a player with a stat line like that. And then you look at it on defense, he's got 20 tackles as well. I mean, so he's getting it done everywhere on the field. And I hope somebody gives him a shot. 3 pass defenses. I hope somebody gives him a shot at the next level because, man, against Eastern Wayne this year, he caught an interception and took it about 50 yards in less than 5 seconds. It was one of the most craziest plays I've ever caught on film and I've ever seen live. So he's been absolutely balling this year. And I hope somebody gives him a chance. I mean, he's currently 10th in the state in scoring for points with 102 points. 110 points. So, I mean, man, there's nothing you can really say about that, man. He's done crazy things. You look at his teammate, John Willis, who's a Navy commit right now. John, he currently has, he hasn't made quite as big as an impact when it comes to touchdowns. But when you look at it rushing-wise, John has 7 carries, 101 yards, 14.4 average, and then 2 touchdowns. Currently leading the WJG in receiving yards with 19 catches for 389 yards, over 20 yards a catch for 5 touchdowns. And you look at his kick return, he's got an 80-yard kick return and a 26-yard punt return as well. And then he's not just playing, one side of the ball, man. He's playing both sides. You look at it, he's got 15 tackles currently on the year, and has also gotten 5 pass breakups. They won't throw to him really, so he has no interceptions over there on that side. Has caused a fumble, and I mean, man, that's just Green Central, man. The reason I keep harping on them, man, is just they've got a lot of special kids over there as far as what they can do. He's got 2 kickoff returns which results in 80 yards for him. So yeah, I mean, man, he's done a spectacular jobs as well, and you can't look past him. I mean, you look at it, they call him the fast boys for a reason, man. I think Coach tweeted out 4.25 for John, 4.31 for Jamari Copridge. I mean, you don't find speed like that everywhere. They're playmakers, man. It's amazing when you watch it. I mean, then you look at it, their defense has just been so dominant. You got Kamari Hall back there. You've got Isaiah Campbell. So, I mean, they have a lot of guys who are just doing what they're supposed to do, man, and just really, can't hate it. Wilt Thomas has done his job as a QB, passing for 887 yards. But really, I think the top thing you look at it, man, is he's been so efficient. 63% completion rate, only two interceptions, 12 touchdowns. Then he's added 135 yards and 6 touchdowns on the ground. Green Central, man, what can you say? They're rolling. Now, let's look at the guy who's leading the state in rushing right now. Number 1 in rushing TDs. Number 1 in points scored by a non-QB. Christian Paris from Princeton. I told you guys, I got to say it. I don't always like to be the told you guy, but I told you. He has lived up to what his billing was. I mean, he pretty much was the preseason player of the year going into this year, and he's just really lived it up, man. He's something special, man. I mean, you look at it, 153 carries for 1,300 yards, 8.5 yards a carry. That's nothing but solid. 22 rushing touchdowns. Got another kickoff return touchdown. And he's playing back there in the defense, making plays. He only has 5 total tackles. But then you look at it, he's got, on the defensive side, he also has a couple of interceptions and some pass breakups. So I mean, hey man, he's done exactly what I said he would do, and I think Charleston Southern was smart to make that offer. I think some other programs, it's time for them to go ahead and step up to the plate and try to get him some more, because man, he's going to be a big time player for whoever ends up getting him. He reminds me a lot of Vontae George from Rosewood. I know Princeton player would never like to be compared to a Rosewood player, but I mean, just with how versatile both of them were and how influential they were for their team, man, I can't, Vontae, even as a junior, was very important for his team. Now we got Jackson Bird here, is the top passer in the WJG area, currently 12th in the state in passing yards. Currently, I believe he's 5th for touchdowns among QBs. Has done just an absolute bang-up job of carrying on the legacy of Cleveland QBs. Cleveland has done a great job developing QBs in the past, and he's just a long line in there. I think he probably ends up going the highest of any QB so far. Darius Ocean, of course, even though he didn't graduate from Cleveland, still was a Cleveland development project and ended up at Western Kentucky. Of course, Skylar Locklear is now with the Govs out in Tennessee at Austin P. I think Jackson Bird is going to end up being an FBS QB one day, and I think he has done a great job of carrying on that legacy of Cleveland QBs. With much respect to who he's had to follow, there's been a lot of great Cleveland QBs in the last, they've only been in school for 11, 12. This is their 12th season or 11th season playing varsity. So I mean, sky's the limit for that young man. I'm telling you, we're looking. I think when you get to this offseason, you'll start to see blessed to receive, blessed to receive, blessed to receive. 2025. Put it down. All right, now let's get to the rankings here. All right, so currently right now, number 1, big surprise, Cleveland. Hey, I'm not going to talk too much about it. Number 2, Green Central. Yes, Green Central leapfrog into number 2. Yes, they leapfrog 2 3A teams, but man, I gotta say, I've just been so impressed with the way the Rams have played. They've been knocking teams out really fast, really quick. Even though people are saying they're playing cupcakes, I'm telling you, man, they're a lot better. On film, they look crazy. On film, it's going to look crazy to a lot of people to say they've been playing cupcakes, because guess what? They've been running them guys out the park. Now, I can't wait to see how they do in the playoffs. I don't think Jay Wilson will love this, but I would love a Princeton versus Green Central game to go to the state championship on the line. I would love that. And the only reason I say to go to the state championship is currently right now, Princeton is currently sitting at around third for the state. They're currently third in 2A East. Green Central's there at 5. So if that were to stay, if that's the correct ranking that I have, put the correct seed, they'd be on opposite sides of the bracket. So that would have to play each other to go to the state championship game. So just putting it out there. Maybe I'll be right. Maybe I'll be wrong. It would be very interesting, though. Now, number 3. Just because they've been there for the last few weeks, we're going to leave them right there at number 3, Smithfield Selma. Now, I'm a little concerned because they are facing with some injuries. They have some key guys out, but they've been able to hold the fort even without those guys. So, hey, I'm going to leave them right there currently at 3. I know they lost a spot, but I think 3 is a good spot for them right now. ACOC, I'm sure they wish they were number 1. I know they would probably think that they are number 1. But right now, until they beat Triple S or Triple S losers, I got to leave them there at 4. I think they've done a great job of resurging. But even though I said I don't know who's better, Triple S technically has had the bigger start to the year, so I'm going to leave them right there at 3, let ACOC be 4. And then at 5, we're going to come in with Princeton. Princeton has held down the fort, like I said. Technically, they would probably be undefeated had they not played Triple S right now. So, I mean, hey, that's the way we're looking at it right now. They could be that 5th undefeated team, but we're leaving them right there at number 5. All right. So now I've talked you guys head off enough. This has been close to a 50-minute show. I always hate when I have to be a little long-winded, but that's why I've been drinking a lot of water, so that way I could have plenty of time to speak. But I really appreciate you guys supporting. This was one of the best months that I've ever had on YouTube that we've had for WJG Sports. I greatly appreciate you guys supporting, showing love, watching the videos, subscribing. Guys, my goal for the end of this month, I would like to get to 2,500 subscribers. Currently, as we speak, I'm sitting at 2,316. I'll always post up plenty of content. Please go like, subscribe, support. I appreciate you guys watching once again. I got plenty of new things on the way. I got lots of ideas on the way. If you haven't heard, we've got the Christmas tournament at Goldsboro. We will be collaborating with them to put on the Terry Walls Holiday Invitational in love and memory of Coach Terry Walls. And we greatly appreciate your support. We'd love to see you come out. It's going to be some great basketball. That teams list will be out very soon, so make sure that you keep watching. College coaches will tell you we got some prospects for you to come see from the deep east and the down south part of the state. So we got some great guys. We're going to have some great bump. I'm really excited about that. I'm excited about some other things that's coming. So, guys, just keep following along. I appreciate you guys. Like I said, we're at 2316. When I hit 2400, I might do a little giveaway or something. I appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure that you subscribe to YouTube. Make sure that you like us on Facebook. Make sure that you are following on Twitter. And once again, thank you. Appreciate you for watching. Have a great week. Hopefully we have a great week of football games coming up very soon. And hopefully everyone had a safe way to get out of the hurricane. I hope that it didn't affect anybody too much, and we can continue on with the season just perfectly the way it's been going. And thank you guys for watching. Till next time.